tested my metal and found myself lacking, always wanting, found wanting. I tested my metal, I tested and I found myself lacking. I was pride and arrogance, the greatest angel before my fall. I laughed at the weak, called their suffering small. Pride speaks loud when never weighed, and mine had never met the blade. For I wore a crown I had never earned, and my arrogance was soon to burn. No lies survive when the weight comes down. Truth has a blade that strips the crown.
So came the night that did not care. It did not kneel, it did not scare. It only asked a question cold and exact. Show me the strength you claim you have.
I tested my metal and found myself lacking, felt my flawless illusion cracking. I reached for the God I believe lived in me, and found only silence where he should be. My head began to feel wrong, heavy with truth I'd worn it too long. I begged for the lie that once made me king, but under the weight I was nothing. I searched for the fire I swore I contained, but found only ash where the ego had reigned. The man in my mind did not appear. He vanished the moment the end drew near. All that remained was something small, something weak, something real. No enemy stood before my face, just the empty outline of my disgrace. The world did nothing but let me see the fraud that lived inside of me. I tested my metal and found myself lacking, felt my flawless illusion cracking. I reached for the God I believe lived in me, and found only silence where he should be. Heaven did not cast me out in flame, it only withdrew and I could not remain. I fell not like a king, not feared, not chased. I fell like something that had no place. My wings tore loose without a sound, flesh remembering it was never crowned. Feathers drifted past my eyes, was I when no one could see? When belief had abandoned me, not strong, not brave, not the thing I claimed to be. Just flesh that panicked, just nerves that screamed, just the death of a beautiful dream. The man I invented suffered and died, now only something real survives.
I tested my mettle and found myself lacking. This sentence describes one of the most psychologically violent moments a person can experience. The collapse of the illusion of who they believe themselves to be. Most people live inside a silent assumption. I am strong enough, I am capable, I am different from the weak. This belief often exists untested. It is not built from evidence, but from imagination, comparison, and hope. It is a self-image, not a proven reality. To test your mettle means you entered a moment where imagination could no longer protect you. You faced resistance, pain, fear, discipline, loneliness, sacrifice, or responsibility. And your nervous system was forced to answer honestly, not with words, but with action. And action cannot lie.
Psychologically, this is the moment when the ego meets the truth of the organism. The ego says I am brave, the body hesitates. The ego says I am disciplined, the body avoids. The ego says I can endure, the mind escapes.
And in that fracture you see the difference between your ideal self. This realization produces a very specific form of suffering. Not ordinary pain, but identity pain, because what was lost was not comfort, but belief. You did not merely fail at a task, you failed to be the person you thought you were. This is devastating because identity is the structure that stabilizes human existence. It answers the question, what am I? When that answer collapses, even briefly, the psyche enters a state of exposure. There is no protective story left, only observation remains. But there is something profoundly important hidden in this sentence. The one who tested their mettle is already different from the one who never tries. Most people never truly test themselves. They remain permanently protected by excuses, distractions, and environments that never demand their full capacity. They preserve the illusion of strength by never risking its disproof. But you stepped into the arena of reality, and reality answered.
Finding yourself lacking is not proof of permanent weakness. It is proof that illusion has been replaced by measurement. Before the test, your strength was hypothetical. After the test, it is defined. This moment creates a psychological crossroads with two possible paths. The first path is paths retreat. The person protects their ego by avoiding future tests. They lower their standards, invent justifications, or redefine weakness as acceptable. This preserves emotional comfort but freezes growth. The self becomes smaller, structured around avoidance. The second path is reconstruction. The person accepts the verdict without negotiation. They do not argue with reality. They allow the pain of inadequacy to become information rather than injury. Instead of protecting their identity, they rebuild it, this time anchored in evidence, repetition, and earned capability. This is the difference between fragile confidence and forged confidence. Fragile confidence is belief without testing. Forged confidence is belief rebuilt after collapse. Paradoxically, discovering that you are lacking is the only reliable foundation for becoming strong, because false strength cannot be trained. It must first be exposed as false. Psychologically, this sentence marks the death of fantasy strength and the birth of conscious self-awareness.